Ever since Hailie Deegan's departure from AM Racing was announced, there has been one question that every fan has been asking. Where will she go next? Deegan has now given an indication of what that answer will be as she went to Iowa to attend the IndyCar weekend. Just a few days ago, Hailie Deegan was let go by AM Racing. This was followed by several fans and NASCAR pundits criticizing AM Racing and Ford for not giving Deegan the necessary guidance and support to make it in NASCAR. But now it seems as though Deegan will be going to a team that can give her a lot more. And we can give you a lot more information on the latest news surrounding NASCAR. So just hit that subscribe button and let us do the rest. You won't regret it. Just as Deegan was spotted in Iowa, a fan noticed that Deegan had also followed Indy NXT and Andretti Global on her Instagram account. This has indicated that she will be racing for Andretti Global from next season. But what does Andretti stand to gain from this relationship? Hailie Deegan is just 22 years old and still has a lot to learn in motorsports. She is also the only woman since Danica Patrick to make it into the NASCAR Xfinity Series. There's no doubt that she has a lot of potential to become great in motorsports. However, to unlock this potential, Deegan needs the right sort of guidance from her team and mentors. AM Racing was not able to provide her with this. At the moment, Andretti already has a female driver in their lineup, Jamie Chadwick. Jamie came to the Indy NXT Series after a successful tenure at the W Series Championship where she won 3 championships. With Andretti in Indy NXT, she has been quite impressive this season. She stands 5th in the standings and recently won a race. Andretti is easily a top team in the Indy NXT Series. Thanks to this, they are looking for more talent who can compete at a high level. This comes to Hailie Deegan. Despite her poor performance this season, Deegan is one of the most successful women in motorsports across the USA. She has proven that she can compete against some of the best drivers with her tenure at the K&N Pro Series. Going to Andretti will make a lot of sense for her. Hailie Deegan is also the most popular driver among the NASCAR drivers. She has 1.6 million followers on her Instagram, which is not matched by any of the current Cup Series drivers. This popularity comes with a lot of sponsorships, which will support her as she races in motorsport. Even though Deegan was not performing well this season, it was only her first year in the series, and AM Racing has not helped her at all. They just sit back and expect a rookie to learn everything on their own. Well, that's not how NASCAR works. Bubba Wallace's spotter, Freddie Kraft, also sided with Deegan over AM Racing's decision to sack her. You can't build a program around an inexperienced driver. You don't know if your cars have speed if your driver doesn't have any experience at the track you're going to. So, if obviously money is a big factor in this, but if there was a way to have Brett and Hailie there, I think it would have only benefited Hailie. But unfortunately, it wasn't the case. And now they're going to have to go and take a route of putting drivers in here to try to evaluate where their program is really at. And there's good people over there, like I said. And hopefully, they get it sorted out. Concluding his take on the matter, Kraft was just hoping for Deegan's bright future, while also clearing her of any blame. Hailie lands on her feet somewhere. I'm sure she will. She's a talented race car driver. This is not on Hailie either. Unlike other better-funded teams, AM Racing runs only one full-time car on the Xfinity grid. Hence, Deegan had no one to compare her results with and no one experienced to help her with her performance. A lot of other drivers out there get mentored by NASCAR Cup Series veterans and current drivers. Deegan, on the other hand, did not have anyone. Despite this, Deegan managed to get a 12th place finish during the race in Talladega. While she may not have been able to deliver better results following this, it is important to keep in mind that this is her rookie year, and not a lot of current Xfinity drivers on the grid even managed to get 12th place in their rookie year. There's no doubt that Deegan will be able to perform much better with the right support and guidance, which Andretti could provide in Indy NXT. But the transition to IndyCar will not be that simple. There's a huge difference in the type of cars used in both series. While NASCAR Xfinity is more stock racing, which Hailie has grown accustomed to, IndyCar is open-wheel racing. The cars in IndyCar have a lot of technical characteristics, and driving these cars is much more complicated than driving the stock cars in NASCAR. Plus, there's the obvious difference in track layouts as well. While NASCAR usually races in ovals, IndyCar races in all types of circuits, including road courses, ovals, and street circuits. Hailie will have a lot of adjustments to make to get herself suited to the Indy NXT cars. However, she's not new to IndyCar. About 5 years back, she had her very first running in the open-wheel cars in IndyCar. A video from then recently surfaced, misleading fans to think that it's a recent video. However, Deegan herself commented on that video, stating that it is from 5 years ago. But given that Deegan already has a basic idea of how the cars react in the IndyCar series, she knows what she's getting into and is prepared for it. Hailie Deegan is currently only 22 years old. She still has over a decade of racing left in her. But why did she suffer this year in the Xfinity series? As mentioned earlier, the lack of support and guidance from AM Racing is one factor. But there is another. All of NASCAR's drivers are run by their sponsors. Deegan herself was able to acquire some sponsors to support her in her journey. She herself has the highest fan following in the NASCAR community. This includes the Cup Series drivers as well. Thanks to her popularity, her sponsors wanted her to succeed and promoted her up the ranks as soon as possible. Deegan's performances in the K&N Pro Series were impressive. However, as she entered the Truck Series, her performance started to fade. After racing in the series for 3 years, she only managed to get 5 top 10 finishes. It was clear that she was not ready for the Xfinity series, but her sponsors had other ideas. Here's Dale Earnhardt Jr. to explain how Deegan's sponsors played their part in her downfall. Hailie is a product of a very challenging system, Earnhardt Jr. theorized. This is the same for a lot of drivers that I've worked with, and a lot of drivers that I've seen that work their way from whether it be racing at Millbridge, to late models, to super late models, to truck and Xfinity opportunities that eventually come along. A lot of times, whatever the financial support is for a driver, it is very difficult. Wherever that financial support is coming from, whether it's a sponsor, whether it's family, whatever that support is, it's still a lot of money. A huge commitment. It's not forever. What happens is, and this is, I believe, somewhat similar for Hailie, is, in a perfect world, you would let Hailie or any of these drivers run in that K&N series, or run super late models, or run trucks a few more years. What happens is there's a bit of an urgency to try and move up and take the very next available opportunity at the next level, because the support financially is not forever, and you do not know when that finally dries up. For whatever reason, you lose that financial support. So every rung on the ladder that develops above you, whether it's the Truck Series or Xfinity Series, no matter how good or bad that rung is, you grab it. I think a lot of times, drivers then ultimately end up in bad situations that don't pan out for them. And this is one of those scenarios where I think that she felt like, man, I've really got to take this. This is being presented to me and I've got to take it. It's Xfinity. I think I'll fit those cars better. I think I'll do a better job in this series. She took it, when it might not have been the opportunity she should have chosen. What other things she could have done, I do not know. Whether it had been staying in the Truck Series, but I see this with a lot of drivers that are trying their hardest to get to the very top, taking the next opportunity that presents itself at the next level, and trying to progress as quickly as possible. Because you can't sit here and fund a late model program, or a super late model program, or a truck program, or a K&N program forever. They're like, well, we're spending all this money, let's go spend it here. And they just end up in bad situations. It's about timing, but it's frustrating to see it. If Deegan had spent a year or 2 in the Truck Series, she could have developed a lot more as a driver before taking her talents into the Xfinity Series. This way, she would have been more prepared to face the challenges in pro NASCAR racing. But now that it looks like Deegan is on her way to IndyCar with a strong team with infinite resources, we could see her start to make some progress in her career. It'll be interesting to see what decisions she makes in the coming weeks. Do you think Hailie Deegan will do well in the Indy NXT series? Post your thoughts in the comment section below.